our goal to create lifelong learners, the Makerspace gives us a great opportunity for those kids to begin to experiment and become passionate about what they're learning and how they're growing. The Makerspace has all these opportunities for experimentation as well as creating a clear objective in the end. It is a true opportunity for these kids to learn more and grow more. The sixth graders were given a new project this year in math. And what we did in this case is the students were told they had to put a scale. So a scale in this case, something that could balance two things to compare weights. We went into the Makerspace. We looked at the materials available in the Makerspace. They were allowed to go on their computers and look up possible plans or ideas for about 10 to 15 minutes and take notes on those plans. Some of them went to YouTube, some of them went to Pinterest, some of them went to some other site. They looked at some ideas, they made some sketches, and they closed their computers. Once they were getting out materials, the computers were off the tables. They then brought out the materials to set up and try to build their scales. That required careful measurement because you've got to make sure the lengths are correct in terms of balance to maintain equality on either side so that things would stay balanced. At the same time, they also had to look at careful weights and how small things would affect the weight of it. So the scale involved some trial and error, some experimentation, and they were all doing them fairly differently. There's a wide range of styles and techniques they used to build the scales. Some of them used very complex ideas, some of them used very simple ideas, and all of them had different degrees of success. Part of the reason we were doing this was actually a lead-in to solving equations, where you're balancing and taking an equation, which is like a balance. You have a certain amount on one side that equals another amount on the other side, and understanding how we can change those things to imbalance or get back to balance. So this idea of equations then ties into the construction of the actual scales. In the process of doing the scales, the kids have learned a lot about the idea of details and how small errors in measurement create big errors later on. A couple of them, for instance, discovered that, when they built the little holding cups, the cups weren't level on the bottom. So weights would shift their position, immediately make the scale imbalanced. Oh, wait a minute, small things are suddenly messing everything up. But they're identifying the small things. They've identified exactly what the problem is, and they seek to correct it. The great things about any of the Makerspace projects, like this one or another one I did earlier on with paper dowels, is the students don't have a specific set of rules to follow or directions. They have an objective at the end. So often there's some trial and error, and they're going to discover that certain things work and don't work. And their critical thinking skills become really important, because when something fails, critical thinking allows you to identify what caused the failure. And that's so important, rather than just saying, it didn't work and ending there. Critical thinking allows you to sit back and say, okay, we've identified, wait, this happened. Why did it happen? Okay, this seems to be the reason. If we change this, can we suddenly have greater success? And that ability to both do the trial and error and then apply the reasoning skills they've learned in other places, and that critical thinking allows them to identify the error, correct the error, and then move forward.